Good evening, folks, and welcome into the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the Indianapolis 500 and the 100th running, just 14 days away.
It's tonight's top story. WTWO Sports' Tommy Poole joins me now with more. Tommy, a really scary situation right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Cody. First and foremost, I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to the McNichols family and hoping for a speedy recovery on everybody's behalf here at the station. It's a rare sight. I've got the sunglasses on instead of a raincoat. Beautiful weather here in North Davies. That's my first stop of the night. Good evening, folks, and welcome back. 7 days of the greatest day of the year, in my opinion, Christmas. 8 days until the greatest week in the Valley. That's a fact. Okay, maybe it's not, but still, it's the first financial Wabash Valley Classic. 8 days of Classic here on NBC2. That's what we're calling it on the first day of Classic. The first game will be, it's Robinson and Terre Haute North. I'm done singing, I promise. Welcome to the most magical place in the world. It's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? In 107 years, history is still being made. And instead of eyes on the racetrack, it was eyes in the sky. Like you said, a very scary moment for sure. He's a class act and deeply loved, not just in that organization there at ISU, but all around the community as well.
Absolutely, and our best wishes are with him and his family, as you said.
Absolutely. Brett, it's kind of a bittersweet weekend here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as one of the biggest fan bases say goodbye to a local hero.
Jeff has just meant a whole lot, not only to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but just Indiana in general.
Good evening and welcome back, folks. Happy Basketball Day in Indiana. Obviously, a big and proud day to be a Hoosier with the rich history here in our state in basketball. Thanks, Cody. The Armed Forces have always had a strong presence here at NASCAR through sponsors being here in the States to homegrown ethanol fuel. The series thinks it's important to give back to the home front. Thanks, Grant. West Vigo home tonight as well to round out the Vigo County trifecta. The Vikings 3-1 on the season with that lone loss coming to Northview just 1 week ago. Thanks, guys, and welcome into Brown County, an area known for its crafts and restaurants. Tonight, two Valley teams shopping for a win and keeping their season alive. Big achievement for Baylor. I was rushing it already, trying to give him 200. It was 100
an extra
wins.
100, yeah. What
Absolutely.
a day for West Vigo. They get the win tonight.
Thanks, guys. It's the semifinals of the sectional championship here in Brown County, and while the leaves have all fallen off the trees, three Valley teams are still standing. VJ Beecham, he drives the baseline. Wait for it, look out below, big dunk there. Irish would take a 52-38 lead into the break. The Vikings would come out a little flat, and the defense would give up two big plays, including this 30-yard pass on 4th and 5 for the first touchdown. Crawfordsville would score again before half, 14-0 going into the break. Look at this take here. Absolute beaut here by Deranger Cunningham, slicing and dicing, cutting his way to the hoop. See what I did there? Defense force another punt for the Cougars. Then it's Tyler Muir again, putting the team on his back. He sheds a tackle there. He's off to the sidelines. Nice blocks ahead. He's set on cruise control. He's just cruising on in to the end zone here. I'm going to the end zone. Linton wins 68-7. It's Robert Turbin again. He is going to be slicing and dicing his way. Watch him go, just cutting around, spin move there, spin cycle into the end zone. Growing up in the racing community and even having some seat time myself, I know firsthand it only takes one corner to get hooked.
It's very addicting. It's once the dirt gets in your blood, it's hard to get it out.
It's the unfortunate part of the business. It's something that you never want to see.
Dan Weldon lost his life racing in 2011, leaving behind his wife Susie and sons Sebastian and Oliver. It's a game of chess at speeds in excess of 230 miles per hour. For 200 laps, 500 miles, track position is critical if you want to win at Indy.
Current position, obviously where you're at comparatively to others on strategy. You have to pay attention to who you're around. Some guys are a little bit safer to race with, some guys aren't so much. One
wrong move from one of those other drivers can end a day early. Teams use spotters perched high above to help avoid those disasters.
They're the eye in the sky right there. They're telling you if somebody's on your outside, inside.
At 230 miles an hour, you're doing a football field in a second, so you're covering a lot of ground. For Scott to take his eyes off of the track and look in the mirrors and stuff is not just distracting. It's just like you're going to be catching somebody before you know it.
I like to say that a spotter is like a waiter in a restaurant. Graham comes and sits in my section, and he tells me how he wants his meal prepared, and it's my job to serve it to him that way. And the engineer and the crew members are the chef, and they prepare the meal. But when we go out on the racetrack, it's Graham and I try to make sure that his experience is what he expects.
It's much like a trust fall. but cement walls and a catch fence await for a miscommunication. Trusting the voice in your ear doesn't come overnight.
It's just experience, working together. Obviously, Steve and I have worked together a little while here. And Clay, who will be my spotter in turn one, I've known Clay my entire life.
I used to think that the best seat in the house was in the pit box, change the tires, fuel in the car, and then I discovered the spotter stand.
Tommy Poole, Ritual of Speed.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for WTWO News After the Game. I'm Cody Adams. We're following some scary news out of ISU this evening. The university has confirmed that ISU track and field and cross-country coach John McNichols suffered a stroke this weekend. It's tonight's top story. WTWO Sports' Tommy Poole joins me now with more. Tommy, a really scary situation right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Cody. First and foremost, I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to the McNichols family and hoping for a speedy recovery on everybody's behalf here at the station. Now, Coach is currently in critical condition at a hospital in Orlando, Florida. He was down there for the UTFCCCA convention. McNichols just celebrated his 100th championship in 34 seasons here with the Trees. ISU Athletics has released a statement. Now we'll have more on that in sports, but Cody, like you said, a very scary moment for sure. He's a class act and deeply loved, not just in that organization there at ISU, but all around the community as well.
Absolutely, and our best wishes are with him and his family, as you said.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, and welcome into Brown County, an area known for its crafts and restaurants. Tonight, two Valley teams shopping for a win and keeping their season alive. It's the Northview Knights taking on the Sullivan Golden Arrows, both 15-16 on the season and 0-1 at neutral side. Something has to give. Knights' Drew Lumsden gets the tip in on the putback to open up the scoring, but Trey Powell and the Arrows make it clear this game is going to go back and forth. Arrows down by 1 with time ticking down in the first quarter when Shane Garner splashes one from about 25 feet out at the buzzer. Arrows lead 9-7 at the end of the first. Knights won't let the game get away. Dylan Hyatt pulls up from the elbow to take the lead for the Knights. Quentin Hayes, he had 14 points on the night. Here's 3 to give the Knights a 5-point lead with 2 minutes left before the break. Now it's Sullivan's turn to answer. 3-point basket to tie it, goes off the rim, but Gardner hits 2 of his 15 points right here to get within 1 at the break. Almost identical to the first meeting when Northview won in OT. Tucker hits a 3 here. Northview would lead by 6, but Powell says no more, getting within 1 point with about a minute left in the fourth. Knights shooting free throws with the 3-point lead. Basket is no good, but Hayes gets the putback and the extra to seal a win, 62-55 your final.
It took everybody on the team, and the bench was very much into the game. Just excited for them. They've worked very hard and one step closer to ultimately what we're all playing for.
In the second game of the night, we saw the Patriots of Owen Valley taking on the Edgewood Mustangs. Check out Tanner Thomas knocking down a 3. Very loud atmosphere for this one. At the other end, it's Michael Light hitting his own 3. We are throwing darts here in Brown County. Again, almost looks identical to the first. Thomas with 3 more. It's raining 3s. Hallelujah, it's raining 3s. So we go to the other end, and I think you guys can guess what happens here. Austin Boyd, he answers for the Patriots. Unreal sight as Thomas's hot hand leads the Mustangs to a 61-51 final. Truck and tractor pulls. While it may just look like black clouds of smoke, excitement and competition is fierce.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League produces over 250 events nationwide underneath 10 member state umbrellas, as well as their Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League Champions Tour.
And that Pro Champions Tour includes 12 to 19 extra rounds, all fighting for championship points. While it looks like drivers just stand on the pedal, it's a bit more complex.
We want to watch out for moisture and for hills or valleys, anything that'll get us hung up or make us spin out.
One of the most misunderstood parts of pulling always seems to be our pulling sled.
As trucks hook up to the sled at the line, they begin pulling 40 to 60,000 pounds. However, as the pull begins, the box slides down the rails, dropping the pan to the ground, adding an extra 100,000 pounds in drag.
Now that's equivalent to the vehicle hauling 2 fully loaded semi-tractors and trailers down the track at the end of their pass.
With that big of a load, these trucks aren't quite stocked.
We use semi-rear differential now. We use drop boxes, and the main thing is failure rates.
But not everything has changed under the hood for one of the 7 classes being limited pro stock diesel trucks.
Actually, there are a lot of stock components in our Cummins engines. They actually hold up. There is a lot of aftermarket one-off pieces, but we actually do run a stock bottom end, a stock crank, and it does hold up.
For the other classes, semis, tractors, and super trucks, that's totally different. And they also come with a price tag of nearly $250,000.
As you can see, so many aftermarket modifications here. This is a block that from the factory made 180 horsepower. And now with the addition of 2 turbos out front, a huge turbo down below, now these guys are making 3,200 horsepower.
In Terre Haute, Tommy Poole, NBC2 Sports.